And we're back for yet another episode.
Episode 25 already. We're like a quarter century old.
This is Real Life Lounge, real topics, real talk. And we're continuing our conversation about all of the subjects that are covered in the real life learning method. Mm-hmm. The first two were growth mindset and physical health and wellness. So now we're on to subject number 3. Give it to us. What is it?
Nutrition.
Yes.
I think this might be my favorite topic and one that I think is super, super important.
Yeah. And again, if you revisit the things that we wish we had learned when we were kids, those are the kinds of things that we wanted to be addressing here. So nutrition was on the top of a lot of people we know lists.
Yeah. And I think a big part of that is like the era that we grew up in. It was the boom of all of the quick processed,
packaged,
all the packaged foods. And so
Little Debbie stuff, like all that stuff.
I remember bringing Gushers in my lunch.
And the cereals, like the cereals became a big, huge marketing thing. And all the package, the convenience of so much, like just the way families ate changed when we were kids.
And so we're learning that all of that stuff is really bad for us, and that there's a lot of laboratory made things and things that are just really messing up our systems, but really messing up kids' attention spans, their ability to think. It just really makes a huge difference in their bodies. And so our daughter Allie had lots of antibiotics as a kid, and it's made her gut and what she eats, she's more sensitive to it. And we can really tell a difference when she has like artificial dyes. There was one day in particular when she was in preschool and she came home and I was like, what did you eat today? And she had M&Ms in like a trail mix, and you could totally tell in her behavior because she had food coloring. So
yeah. And this is not to say like that we're above all this stuff, because we are bombarded every day with all of the food in our world, in our society. But what we try to teach in this subject is the awareness around what it is that we're eating, the reasons why we're eating it, and our relationship to the food, the why behind what we eat. And a lot of it is thinking about food as fuel. And I think is that even like one of the topics?
Yep. So the 4 subtopics, because each one of our subjects has 4 subtopics. The first one is food as fuel and hydration. We put that into one because obviously drinking water is super important. It's something that I think a lot of adults really struggle with.
Yeah.
So that's number 1. Number 2 is understanding what the food groups are and what macronutrients and micronutrients are. We grew up again on the food pyramid with all like carbs and pasta on the bottom. And, we don't feel like that's the best way to eat. There are different ways of looking at your plate and the food groups and maximizing how you're fueling your body.
And, knowledge is power. Mm-hmm. Like if you just simply don't know, you don't know what you don't know. And you could be having a breakfast every single day that you feel like is fueling you well, and it just is not. And so much of the breakfasts that we grew up with were these super
carbs,
sugar and carb heavy breakfasts, because what does that do? It gives you this quick jolt of energy, which then you think is good. It's doing its job. But then the crash and the ebb and flow that comes with a breakfast like that.
Do you remember going to school? I remember eating breakfast like that and then going to school and being hungry like in the first period.
Yeah.
And like, oh my gosh, I can't wait until lunch. Well, yeah, because I didn't have any protein with breakfast. It was all simple carbs. So that's topic 2, the understanding micronutrients and food groups. Number 3 is understanding how to read food labels and knowing what's in our food. Like Brian said, there are still things that we end up eating on occasion that I don't love, but if your kids can understand what things do to your body and why it's important to pay attention to the labels, and so you can learn as adults what to start looking for, it just makes such a big difference when you're eating that way most of the time. Like, yes, are there times where we go out to eat or we have a treat and we have things that we don't prefer to put on our bodies? Yes, absolutely. But it's making those educated decisions on a regular basis so that the occasional times don't affect your body as much.
Yeah. If you're able to, as a parent, say to your child, pick a snack with protein, and they know what that means, then you're like way ahead of the game. Because when I was a kid, I think if you had told me to grab something with protein, I would be like, well, I don't know. Is it a steak? Because I know steak is protein, but I don't know anything else. So it's just like being equipped with that knowledge so that you can make better choices, and then understanding that how your body reacts and how you feel and your energy level is attributed to the decisions you make with your nutrition. So understanding nutrition in the first place becomes really important. So again, it's just the awareness piece.
So tying that awareness back into the food labels. With the protein though, we now can with our kids say, well, have a snack with protein, and they'll be like, does this have protein? And we tell them to look at the label, and they know where to look for the protein and kind of what is 2 grams enough, or should they be having more like 10? So they know what to look for in a higher protein snack when they help us go grocery shopping too.
Yeah.
And then the last topic, kind of tying into the grocery shopping, is understanding how to prep meals, both that kitchen safety piece, and then how to create these snacks that are well balanced so that they're getting some healthy fats and proteins. It's been huge for us having kids that are really comfortable in the kitchen. They make themselves eggs for breakfast all the time, and they want to help with dinner, and having that interaction and involvement in the kitchen helps them become better, well-rounded eaters. They're more likely to eat their fruits and vegetables and not be so picky because they're involved in the kitchen and prepping the food.
We also grew up in the microwave generation, where so many things just get thrown in the microwave. Maybe not always the best choices. I mean, obviously there's still things, but so there's that. And then there was one other thing I was going to say, something about our generation, but I just lost it.
Okay. Making food, our parents cooking this stuff?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. All right. Well, that is topic number 3, nutrition. Again, with all these master classes that we pair with our content, they're so powerful. They're meant for kids to be interactive and consumable, but every masterclass we took away so much ourselves as parents. So nutrition was a great space for us to be continually learning too. So.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good weekend, and we will see you next week with part 5 of the Method Real Life Lounge.
We'll continue with all the subjects. See you next time.